Got some great information to share with you. Ultimately, it is my job to inform, inspire, and empower and motivate you. I have a question for you today. Actually, two questions. Let's start right off. And the first question is this. How hard would you work to save up $100,000? How hard would you work to save it up? Answer honestly. Don't give the expected answer. Don't give the answer that is just rhetoric. Honestly, how hard would you work to save up $100,000? When you've got the answer, you've got the $100,000 now, I want to ask you this. How hard would you work to stop someone from stealing your $100,000? How hard would you work to stop someone from stealing your $100,000? Okay? Answer that question honestly. How hard would you work to stop someone from taking your $100,000? Now, the reason I ask this is most people allow their $100,000, their time, their energy to be stolen from them by neglect, by default, or by ignorance. By neglect, by default, or by ignorance. See, they don't know they're being robbed. When someone wastes your time, they're robbing you. When someone drains your energy, they're robbing you. Now, it doesn't matter if it's intentional or accidental. The result is the same. So it's important that you protect, that you work both to earn, to get your dream, to get your goal, but then also you need to protect it along the way, protecting your potential. People can rob you of your potential. They can influence you to make unhealthy choices and unwise investments with your time. You know, like peers influencing their teen peers to take drugs, rob them of their potential. See what I mean? That's an area where it's by neglect. And by default, if you don't know, by ignorance, there are many ways that your time and the fruits of your efforts are being stolen from you before you even get there. In other words, $100,000 is being taken from you while you're working for it. So how do you stop them from stealing your time, your effort, your energy? Well, that's where I come in with this information. Information, formed from within. Okay? Most people aren't informed, they're outformed. They're formed by things outside of them. Habits, programming, peers, culture, society. Do not let the society define you. Define yourself. Make an objective and stick to it. And hold the center of the wheel. And when attacks come from without, or when they even come from within from previous programming, you're like the cork on the tide. You remain in the same spot when the storms come. And I teach that in the meditations and in the breathing, so that you can stop these things from occurring. So that you can see the red light. Remember, a busy mind misses the red light. It misses the warning, which could be the thief coming in the night to take that $100,000 in whatever form. Likewise, a busy mind will miss the green light, the opportunity. Or they'll never even see it. They'll never even know it's there. Now, this is real funny. I've often shared at my seminars a story from real life of how to get out of a traffic ticket. And I have an article on my website called How to Get Out of a Traffic Ticket. And in there I describe an experience where when I was a teenager driving with my brother and he got pulled over, and what I learned from that and how I applied it when a few weeks later I got pulled over. And I was able to get out of a traffic ticket because I saw how he got one. Well, I'm talking to the same brother. He knows me. He knows what I do. But he thinks that, well, that's interesting. But that's as far as he goes with it. He doesn't care to study it. You know, he's happy for me and my success. He approves of what I'm doing. He supports it. But he doesn't really pay any attention to it because I'm his brother. Anyway, listen to this. We're talking on the phone. And he says he got a ticket. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, did you ask him for a break? And he said, oh, he wasn't going to give me a break. I didn't argue with him. Here's the thing. He had the presupposition. He had already determined the outcome before it even happened. He determined, imagine now, years later after the event I wrote in my article, How to Get Out of a Traffic Ticket, go look it up on my website, all these years later, and he still hasn't learned. I told him about the article. I don't know if he ever bothered to read it. Just shrugs it off. That's where he got robbed by ignorance. He got robbed. The cop didn't rob him. He robbed himself because he could have applied this energetic knowingness to the situation and quite possibly, and perhaps probably, gotten out of a traffic ticket. Knowing is not enough. We must do. Of course, he might not know, but he has no excuse not to know because I told him about the article on my website. So he presupposed and he before the event even happened, he had determined its outcome. By default. Not by design. Because he could have taken a breath and explained to the officer that he had missed the light because he was in a hurry to get home because his wife told him that his daughter was sick. And he was worried and he was stressed. And he was sorry for speeding and could you give me a break? Remember, some cops will give you a break. And some cops won't. But the cop that would have given you a break won't if you don't ask. If you don't apply the energetic principles. It goes the same way in life. Same way in life. In everything. The opportunity that could have happened won't if you don't apply this energetic knowingness and these skills. So I was just in laughter. I got a phone because he wasn't going to give me a break. I said, yeah. I said, how do you know? Well, I said, well, let me ask you this. Do cops ever give people a break? Give them a warning? Yeah, they do. How do you know he wasn't going to give you a warning? You predetermine it. So we predetermine our results. He predetermined by default. I prefer to predetermine by design. Got it? By design. That way, when the opportunity comes that could have happened, where I succeed, then I'll succeed. And if an opportunity comes and I predetermine to win, and it doesn't turn out the way I like, then I still won, because failure is only feedback. Then I get feedback, and I change my approach. Flexibility of approach. Hope you're writing this down. Flexibility of approach. Okay? So, failure is only feedback. There's no failure, only feedback. No failure, only feedback. And so then I take the learnings from the feedback, and then I go ahead and win anyway. That's a pretty formidable opponent, isn't it? Oh goodness, so just hearing that years later, I had to share that with you. Many of you have been with me for years, studying these materials, empowering and motivating your life, and you've read that article, you've seen that newsletter, or you've heard me share the story in seminars of how to get out of a traffic ticket, how to get a raise. I usually start off with that one because that's great stuff. People have used it. They've told me they've used it to success. Yeah, I've had people tell me. One guy was a soldier in the Army, and he got pulled over by the MPs for driving recklessly. And he used the skills, the energetic knowingness, the energetic skills, got out of the ticket, and he wrote in and told us about it. Hey, but you can be one of those people who say, that stuff doesn't work. Or you can be one of those people who says, how can I use this? How can I make this work? Okay? So, energetic knowingness and living by design rather than by default. Default is the thief. Design is the rewarder. You've got a thief and you've got a rewarder in your life. So you can reward yourself greatly and have an awesome time when you live by design rather than by default. And it goes for everything. And then, this is the interesting thing about Yi, intention, and the fire hose drill is that when you move towards something, when you move towards what you want, a lot of times nature will clear a path for you. Yeah, many great motivational speakers and philosophers have said pretty much the same thing. And it's true. There's a quote I've been putting on the emails lately. It says, the successful warrior is the average guy with laser sharp focus. I mean, what is a laser? A laser is intention. It's a beam of light that is focused and concentrated intentionally at a target, a specific target for a specific result. That's a laser. Okay? Laser beam focus. And that's what it's all about. Okay? So, think of how you might be able to use that and design your outcome in advance. Also, even if you know, you say, well, what if I don't know? What if you don't know whether or not the cop is going to give you a ticket? What if you don't know whether or not you're going to get a raise? Well, that's okay. Let's say you try it and it doesn't work. You haven't lost anything. You still got the ticket, or you still didn't get the raise. But at least you tried. You've lost nothing by trying. If anything, you've set the seeds of intention there to grow at a future date because you keep trying, and the next time around, he lets you out of the ticket. Or the next time around, you get the raise. See what I mean? So you sow seeds of intention on your design path. You see what I mean? Is this making sense to you? I want to talk to you about privacy today. Privacy. Privacy is excellence. Privacy is one of the rare and fine qualities in life that is getting more and more scarce. Privacy is value. I mean, how valuable would your girlfriend be if she belonged to everyone? Pardon my crude analogy. How valuable would a meal be, a dinner plate? You order a dinner plate at a restaurant, and they bring it to you, and then they invite the whole restaurant to come and share and eat it. Okay? Exclusivity is what makes something valuable. So, when something is special, when something is rare, when it's exceptional, that's what gives it quality, doesn't it? Right? You can have a mass-produced McBurger, or you can have a fine steak and fine wine. Which is better? Which has more quality? It usually costs more. So privacy is one of the qualities in life, one of the beautiful qualities. And it's a quality that by default has been largely given up. And privacy in this day and age, it seems to be drifting away at rapid speed. I read an article the other day where a guy over in Europe said it, we don't understand, and I don't know the situation in Europe on privacy, but he said, we don't understand why you Americans would allow your privacy to just be freely given up. People would be rioting in the streets for what you guys endure. And he may be right, I don't know. But when we look at the masses, what they tolerate, what they allow, and how they vote, we know that there's no hope there. So we simply have to do our best as ninja, as warriors, to survive and thrive in any society, to be able to preserve our special quality, our sanctity, our divine excellence, to be able to preserve it while operating within law and being able to live life the way you want to. Being able to live the way you want to. That's the thing. So you want to live, personally, I recommend that you live as privately as possible. Don't have a listed phone number and a listed address. Why would you do that? Just put you on mailing lists and telemarketing lists. Don't give out information when you're not legally required to do so. You know, whenever I go into a store now, they say, do you have a rewards card? Why would they be willing to give you 10% off or whatever it is for a rewards card? Why would they do that? Why would they give you that money? Think about it. If you go into an office supply place and spend $100 a month or a week, think about $100 a month. It's $1,200 a year, and they're paying you $120. They're giving you 10% back. This is an example. I don't know what's out there, but why? Why would they pay for that? Because there's a value there. There is a value there, and they sell that information. They sell it. They certainly do. Most information is sold. Big companies, you buy something here and you notice you start getting mail from a similar thing or telemarketing from a similar thing. Now here, Scott Bowen and Masters Group, we don't sell your information. People have offered, can we buy your mailing list? Can we buy your customer list? We want to promote martial arts or NLP. And we say no. No, it's our private customer list. And we're not going to sell it or lease it or rent it to you at all. So our customers' information is private. Now there are some people I work with who I do seminars with, and I might promote them to you directly, but it's through me, so no one gets your information. Now, the thing is, people want your address, they want your phone number so they can telemarket you. And they said, we want phone numbers and addresses so that we can call and offer them NLP, whatever it was. Martial arts, we got that for the martial arts. I'm popular in the martial arts, so people know my list are a lot of martial artists. No. Here's the thing. Don't give out information when you don't have to. You just say no. Do you have a rewards card? And you say, no, thank you. Do you have a membership card? No, thank you. And they go, well, would you like one? You can save 10%. And I say, no, thank you. And sometimes they get pissy because even the individual employees get rewarded. Oh, sure, you could save off this purchase today this much and we give you a free $15 gift card. And I just say, no, thank you. And if they scream and yell or offer me their body, I just say, no, thank you. So you just learn to say, no, thanks, no, thanks. And don't give out that information because it's not worth it. I assure you, the discount. I don't want the discount because remember I talked about a thief with time. Okay, let's say I sign up for one of those cards. Okay? And they all say, we don't sell your information. No, yeah, well, my own first-hand experience has proven otherwise. I get mail or, one time I misspelled my name by accident and mail from other sources began to come. And to Scott, it was SCTT. Forgot that I was writing real fast and it looked like an I. It looked like skit. Okay? And mail started to come that way. See? And it was just for some, magazine subscription, magazine subscriptions in particular. I don't subscribe to magazines, I go buy them off the rack. Then I can see what's new and what's out there. So they sell the information. Why? It's information. Knowledge is power. Information is power. So every time you're giving the information, you're giving them some power. Now, take the time involved for you to process the junk mail. Snail mail. They still send snail mail these days, big time. And you process, you say, no big deal, you throw it away, but you take 5 minutes. If it takes an extra 5 minutes a month, that's an hour a year.